stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and facts presented this evening. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chair and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. This time I'll ask all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to please stand and be sworn in by the city clerk.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. Okay, we will be taking cases slightly out of order tonight. Our first case will be the first case. Our second case will be the last case. And then we'll go back to our regularly scheduled program. So first case will be 1508. Second case will be 500083. Okay, ex parte communications. At this time, I'd like to ask the board members if they've had any ex parte communications regarding any matters coming before the Code Enforcement Board this evening. If you've had verbal communications, please disclose the sum and substance of the communications, when and where the communications occurred, and with whom it occurred. If you received any written communications, please disclose the nature of the communications and provide to the city clerk to be filed in the record. So do you?
I've had none.
I've had none.
And none?
I've had none.
I've had none.
I've had none.
I've had none.
Very good, thank you. Approval of the minutes. Minutes of the regular scheduled meeting held on June 12, 2024. I assume all board members have had a chance to review. If there are no edits, additions, or suggestions,
I wanted to ask,
let me finish, then we'll get to you. Okay. If there's no edits, additions, or suggestions for changes, I'll entertain a motion.
was Bill present? I thought, did you fix it?
I fixed it.
Oh, okay. Last time I read it, it had Bill's
I
name.
caught it. I fixed it.
That's all.
Oh, okay. He's here in spirit.
Huh?
Here in spirit.
Well, it's good, but, you know.
He's
those are
always with
minutes.
us.
Yeah, very good. Good point. And if there's no other changes, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion passes. Thank you. Ma'am. Ma'am? Hello? Yes, you. Two things. Did you sign in?
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay, sign in and then come on up to the podium real quick for me.
Get sworn in.
She didn't swear any either. No, you gotta get her.
My pen doesn't work.
Do you know what your case number is? Do you know what your case number is?
My case number is
6292?
23-6292.
Oh, yeah.
Old business, okay. We're gonna take care of you first, okay?
What?
Yeah, so have a seat,
Okay.
and then we'll get through some formalities, and then we'll get right to you, okay? We gotta get her sworn in, right?
Yes.
Would you mind please standing and get sworn in first? Need to get you sworn in. Need to stand. Raise your right hand. Look at her.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we did the minutes. I told you we were going out of order. We're going out of the order I just said. So our first case is gonna be under unfinished business, and it's gonna be case number 236292. And then we'll go back, then we'll do, second case that was the original second case, we'll go back to the original order, okay? All right, case number 236292.
Case Case number 236292 under unfinished business, City versus Chelsea Jenkins for the property located at 7510 Gadsden Drive. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight.
Hold up.
Hi.
Name and address first, please.
Okay, my name's Chelsea Jenkins. My address is 7510 Gaston Drive, Temple Terrace. So I just need another extension, unfortunately. We have tore down the outside. Like I said, it was more wood and more work than what we anticipated, more expensive than what I was able to budget for prior.
I'm going to ask you to back up a little bit and remind us what the original violation was. What's going, was it?
Missing a post. She was missing a post.
Oh, okay, you were missing the.
Yeah,
post.
that's
Okay,
me.
Okay.
The outside
Okay.
pillar.
Now I'm with you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry. So we have all of like everything. I have all the material. Everything's done. We've started putting the new wood back up. It's just not finished yet. So I believe originally I had until the 12th, which was Friday, but the meeting is today. So my granddad is the one who's helping me do it, thankfully. He just needs a week. Literally just next week. If you want to send someone out just to make sure that, everything's started, it is. But we just need one more week.
So you're asking for an extension of 1 week.
Yes, sir.
Board, what's your pleasure?
I'm good.
Oh, go for it.
Make it.
Oh.
You have to
You gotta-
make a motion.
Gotta make a motion.
Okay, I motion that we extend her for another 30 days.
Another 30 days? Okay.
Oh,
Okay, need a date certain, please.
August 14th.
till August 14th, 2024.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays? So you actually have another 30 days. Hopefully it won't take that long. If something should happen that you need to get another extension, you know where we are.
Okay. Question. Once everything is done, who do I call to come out and verify?
Laurie Smith,
Okay.
inspector.
Okay. Yes. All right.
All right? Good luck.
Yes. Oh. Thank you.
Hopefully all you need is next week. That'd be great. I'm sure you want to get it done too, so.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Y'all have a good night.
You as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, next case is 24500083.
We talked about.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Code Board. My name is Becky Zarella, and I am the fire inspector assigned to this case. I'm here to provide testimony regarding the property located at 705 Aberdeen Circle, which entered the rental housing program on March 29th, 2023. The property was due for renewal on March 29th, 2024, but we have been able to communicate with the homeowner despite multiple attempts. The following is a detailed timeline of our efforts to contact the homeowner. February 1st of 2024, Risk Reduction sent the first renewal notice informing that the renewal was due. March 1st, the second renewal notice was sent to the owner, and April 1st, 2024, the third and final renewal notice was sent to the owner as well. May 23rd, 2024, a case was opened and a notice of violation was prepared and sent out by certified and first-class mail to the property owner with a compliance date of June 5th. The notice was also posted at the property. June 18th, 2024, the property remained out of compliance. Therefore, I requested this violation to be presented at tonight's hearing. June 21st, 2024, the notice of hearing was posted at the property. And as of July 5th, Risk Reduction received the completed renewal application, but no payment. At this time, I would like to submit into evidence the completed application and email correspondence from our office.
We'll have those. Thank you. Where the case stands now is they have completed the application, they just need to pay the fee.
The renewal fee, yes, sir.
Okay. And has someone tried to let them know that that's what's holding things up?
Yes, repeatedly. And then as of July 28th, I spoke with a representative from Darwin Property Managers who took my information, say they would pass my message along. And as of today's date, we have not received payment. The property's not in compliance, so I am seeking a ruling.
Any other questions for the officer?
Yes, I just wanted a little bit explanation. Why the fire department is involved in a rental property? Because
Because-
they have the different,
That, because that's,
Safety.
go ahead.
Safety issues.
Safety
It's been
issues.
assigned to, that
the fire
department
department.
that deals with life safety issues. They go in, they inspect, make sure that the standard.
Yeah, once a year, they do an inspection.
The rental housing program resides in the risk reduction department within the fire department.
Just that for education for me.
Sure.
Thank you.
And it wouldn't make sense to have them do the inspections and have the program ran by a different department.
Correct. Because they're the ones that have to go in.
Doesn't want- yeah.
The application fee is high?
$200. We just haven't been able to get a hold of them.
Did, when you spoke to the representative, did they give you any sort of idea of when that, we'll have something next week, or they just?
No, and in the emails, you will see our administrative assistant who sends these emails out to try to correspond to get the payment in. There's no response. So she and I have both spoken with someone from Darwin Property Managers, but they just say, we'll get your message to the owners, and that's as far as we've been able to get.
All right, any other questions for the officer?
As far as you could tell, were there any issues with the house? Like,
We have not had an inspection.
oh,
We have not been into the home.
okay.
Is that, once they pay, will you be doing an inspection, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
So what happens if they don't pay? I mean, if tonight, if they're found in violation of the ordinance and they're out of compliance? and
So they're in violation of the rental housing code. So as far as the consequence, I'm seeking a ruling for that.
Yeah, I understand that, but let's say 30 days goes by and they still haven't paid. They are now no longer officially in the rental housing program because they haven't paid for their permit.
Correct. According to code, I know that a lien could be put against the property, and then that we would start that whole process with,
But what about the tenants that are there? Or
Like, could the city evict the tenants if,
per our rental housing code, if I'm not mistaken, if they are not in compliance with the rental housing code, I don't believe they can have a tenant in the home.
Okay,
So we would start that process, which I don't believe we've ever had.
We don't have tenants right now. Do they
The
have?
house does have a tenant, and according to the tenant, they've never been able to get to the homeowner either. They go through Darwin Property Managers, and they just take messages and,
so the owner and not the property management company is responsible for paying,
correct.
okay.
So, David, this is probably for the attorney. How, we can do it like a violation?
no, it's the same violation, it's just, we'll still be making the motion as if it were any other violation.
correct.
Because it seems to me they're not getting the attention and that, she tried and tried and tried.
It's treated just like any other violation.
Higher,
That's up to you,
Yeah.
but treat it like any other violation.
just to get their attention,
Chairman?
maybe.
So in the past several years, we've had Inspector Valenti here for the same violation. And what we do is we do a lump sum of $250. That would be the maximum for the violation. So it's a one-time fee of $250.
So the total cost would become $450 because they still got to pay the $200.
That's correct. That's correct.
One other question. So you said the permit was submitted, but they haven't paid, right? So one of the violations is in compliance, correct?
So the application has been submitted, not the permit, the application.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay?
So both, both of the,
And I think they need inspection.
both of the sections are still in violation because
Yeah.
until they pay,
Right.
they're not in
So
compliance.
they can go and inspect too.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's,
okay.
that's
Yep.
very urgent.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, ma'am.
Let's try it.
Good job, by the way.
Yo, go for it. All right.
Okay. So, just before we continue, it seems to me it was gonna
Just
be,
make the motion and we'll discuss it.
okay, all right. I'll try it because
Existing violation.
this is a unique one.
Treat it like any other violation.
Yes. In case number 24-50083, I move that the city has proven by the great weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 705 Aberdeen Circle. with the applicable section violation 8-137 subsection E and section 8-136 subsection C. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the fire department officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and notice of violation of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before August 14, 2024. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $150 per day.
Okay, wow. We just had a recommendation from staff that it be a lump sum $250. So I think that
That's why I was confused.
Can we have discussion?
Okay, I'll second.
after the second,
All right,
yeah.
we have a
I'll second.
second.
Okay, we have a second, now we can
Okay, now-
discuss.
Okay, no, I understand. However, we have no contact with the owner. We have no discussion with them, and we need to inspect a rental property and make sure it's safe for people. I'm not opposed to that. Like, I understand the $250 lump sum, but there's been no, if there has been discussion, they're like, okay, we'll figure it out, whatever, but there's been no discussion.
I wanted to give some time and also give their attention there's going to be $150 per day, maximum $250. That's, I don't want to put, I want him to pay that $200, get the property
yeah.
inspected,
Yeah.
and taking care of this whole
Right.
thing without having more complex.
How would you feel about $100 a day instead? I mean, it just,
$112.50.
for me, it's a rounder number.
It's, you know, if they're now aware of it, well, I guess, what are they, the management company? They're aware of it. They've got 30, you know, we're gonna give them 30 days.
30 days. Yeah.
So whether it's $100 a day or $150 a day, I don't know that matters much. It's just that as long as everybody, as long as you guys that are voting are okay with $150 a day versus a lump sum, and we're not in any kind of, Ernie, is that motion acceptable, or is it? Okay.
I was going to go for 200 to get more attention.
I see it, I saw it, you can see it in your eyes.
How you guys want to proceed?
Okay.
I know that it sounds like in the past, it's been just a lump sum. Are you guys good with a daily fine? Then, yeah, it's a review of the board.
Fine, sure, okay, all right, okay. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Okay, next case.
I'm going to start right back at the beginning.
Start at the beginning, yep, thank you.
Case number is 24-1508, City versus Prime Storage Temple Terrace LLC for the property located at 5311 East Bush Boulevard. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12-1047 Landscape Maintenance and Section 12-1043 Plant Material and Design. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated by Lori Smith and I on April 9, 2024, when we observed overgrown conditions, debris accumulations outside of the dumpster area, dead hedges, substandard mulch, and an irrigation system not functional along the front property line. That same day, Lori did leave 2 door hangers with a reinspection date of April 12, 2024. Lori's inspection on April 19, 2024 noted no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of May 6, 2024. The notice letter was hand-delivered to Amanda Harrison to obtain service. On May 3, 2024, Lori did receive a phone call stating that the grass and debris are now in compliance and the plants and mulch will be done within the next 2 weeks. Inspection on June 24, 2024 noted no change, so therefore the case was forwarded to the July Code Board hearing. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on June 24, 2024. Exhibit number 1 and 2 notes the dead hedges and the substandard mulch along the property line. I'd like to submit at this time.
We'll accept those, thank you.
As of today's inspection, new hedges have been installed. It also has new mulch and a working irrigation, so therefore all 3 violations are in compliance. There's actually 2 violations in compliance. And I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance at this time.
Certainly accept that, thank you. Any additional questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Thank you.
In case number, 241508, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 5311 East Bush Boulevard, Section 12-1047. The motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice violation, all which are received and entered as part of the hearing. Further move there be no fine imposed because the violations are not in compliance before the date of the hearing.
Before we go for a second, if you would mind amending and including section 12-1043 in your motion.
I'm sorry, I'd also like to include section 12-1043.
Thank you. We now have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next case, please.
Oh,
Next case is going to be case number 241624, City versus UDC Urena for the property located at 115 Ridgedale Road. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-10213C, roof maintained in good repair. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on April 15th, 2024 for a tarp on a roof which is indicative of the roof not being maintained in a sound condition, which may admit rain or cause dampness in the interior portion of the building. I left the door hanger with a reinspection date of April 30th, 2024. My reinspection on May 31st showed no change, so I generated a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of June 17th. Posted the notice at the front door, and a copy was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both regular and certified mail, to the owner of record. My reinspection on June 21st showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing and scheduled the case for the July Municipal Code Board meeting. I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on May 31st and June 21st, 2024.
We'll accept those. Thank you.
Okay, the site is in compliance, and I'd also like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm seeking a finding.
Thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Oh, this one.
Okay?
In case number 24-1624, I move the city has proven by a greater weight of evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 115 Ridgedale Road, with the applicable code sections 8-102, subsection 13, subsection C. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from code enforcement officers, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Okay, next case is 24-1758, City versus Stores Inc. for the property located at 5602 East Fowler Avenue. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12-1049, landscaping perimeter, Section 12-1047, landscape maintenance, and Section 12-1043, plant material and design. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Sean Robinson. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Sean Robinson, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on April 23rd, 2024 for insufficient landscaping where the landscaping had little or no mulch, lacked the required 3-foot solid landscape perimeter, and lacked functional irrigation system. I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of May 24th, 2024. My reinspection on May 28th, 2024 showed no change, so a notice of violation was prepared on that date with a reinspection date of June 12th, 2024. Affidavit of service was obtained by hand delivery to store manager if the Carl Islam. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by myself on July 3rd, 2024.
We'll accept those, thank you.
All right. Exhibit 1 shows front of site lacking 3-foot required hedge buffer. Exhibit 2 shows non-functional irrigation system. Exhibit 3 shows little or no mulch. Exhibit 4 shows east side plant lacking mulch. And this site is in compliance, and I would like to submit an affidavit of compliance. I'm seeking a finding.
We accept that, thank you. Are there any questions for the code officer?
The compliance on all 3 violations.
Yes.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
In case number 241758, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the city, excuse me, sorry. City of Temple Terrace, city code did exist on the property located at 5602 East Fowler Avenue, applicable code section 12-1049, section 12-1047, and section 12-1043. The motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, Sean Robinson, including photos, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Next case is 24-1910, City vs. Joe James Vigil, for the property located at 8704 Coral Dawn Court. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, permit application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by Community Development from a citizen complaint on April 30th, 2024 for construction of an accessory structure without a permit. I went directly to a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of May 6. I posted a notice at the site, and the notice was also posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. On June 14th, 2024, my communication with Community Development showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing on that date, and the case was scheduled for the July Municipal Code Board meeting. The property owner has contacted me, and I suggested they contact Community Development to resolve the lack of a permit concern. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the site taken by myself on April 30th and June 20th, 2024. The site is in compliance per building official Dallas Foss, and I am seeking a finding and submitting an affidavit of compliance.
We'll accept all of that, thank you.
That's awesome.
Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do this.
Thank you.
In case number 24-1910, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 8404 Coral Dawn Court with the applicable section violation 8-28 subsection A subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer, Doug Allen, along with any other witnesses, along with evidence including photos, affidavit, and a notice of violation, of which received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second, thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Case 24-2070, City vs. James Everett, for the property located at 5206 Seneca Avenue. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 828A1, permit application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was initiated from Community Development on May 9th, 2024, as they had placed a red tag for a shed being constructed without a permit. I prepared a notice of violation on May 9th, 2024, with a reinspection date of May 16th. I posted a copy of the notice of violation at the front door, and a copy was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My communication with Community Development showed no permit had been acquired, so a notice of hearing was prepared on June 14th, and the case was scheduled for the July Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on May 9th and a screenshot of the stop work order. The site is in compliance, and I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm seeking a finding.
We'll accept all that, thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Got this one.
Thank you.
In case number 242070, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 5206 Seneca Avenue. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Next case is 242199, City versus 5400 Bush Boulevard LLC for the property located at 5400 East Bush Boulevard. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-234B 48B, outdoor seating restaurant. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated on May 5th, 2024, when I observed outdoor seating in a public parking lot that requires a safety barrier. I had spoken to the food truck vendor and the property manager of the Tampa outlets about the potential hazards of the violation if not addressed. On May 15, 2024, I noted again the table set up in the parking lot without a safety barrier. I notified Inspector Doug Allen of my findings and requested that he address the violation. That same day, Mr. Allen prepared a notice of violation with the compliance date of May 20th, 2024. He hand-delivered the notice to the property manager at the Tampa outlets. Mr. Allen's inspection noted no outdoor seating, therefore the case was closed on May 29, 2024. On June 21st, 2024, I observed the tables and chairs set up again in the parking lot, once again without a safety barrier, and I spoke to the food truck vendor. The violation fell out of compliance within the 45 days of compliance, therefore the violation was set for the MCEB hearing tonight. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me. Exhibit number 1 shows on May 15, 2024, that the tables and chairs were set up in the parking lot without the required safety barrier. Exhibit number 2 shows on June 21st, 2024, shows no safety barrier to a table and chairs set up in the parking lot. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence 1 and 2 at this time.
We'll accept that, thank you.
So this is a new violation that was put together probably about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. When a person wants to have outdoor seating, they have to have plans and submit them to the city, but they also need to have a safety barrier where people can sit safely and not inside a parking lot. So about a year ago, the governor allowed food trucks to be on private property as long as they got permission from the property owner. So these food trucks that are down in this outlet area have permission from the owner, but they don't have a required safety barrier to prevent a tragedy from happening.
Okay.
So that's why they're being presented tonight. So as of today's inspection, and I've been inspecting this area every day, I haven't seen this anymore, so I'm going to put it in compliance, okay? And I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
We'll certainly accept that, thank you.
David,
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
questions for?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
just a minute.
Questions
for the code officer?
Probably thinking the same thing, so.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, the safety barriers would be like those they use on the streets sometimes for construction,
The
Yes,
concrete
it's almost
ones.
like a concrete,
concrete barrier or
Yes.
plastic barrier, or sometimes
Can't
they
be- it
have-
can't be
they fill
plastic.
them with water or with, they could be filled with water or something. But it has to be a barrier from the being knocked over.
yeah, once they submit the plans to the city, then we determine whether that barrier is,
Looks like they had cones.
no, that's what I'm saying, and that's not going to stop a vehicle,
Yeah, that's not gonna stop it.
you know, so.
So it's, I know, but they should know that. They know that, the Tampa outlets and all these people, because it seems to me like they'll take him out, then bring him back up. They take him out and,
Yeah, it's a little bit of a game, but I'm tired of playing that game, so I'm trying to prevent something from happening.
because they're always there, right?
The vendors?
Yeah, the vendors
Yes.
are always there.
Yes, that's correct.
So they can have some kind of temporary barriers that's safe to.
Can't be a temporary, it's gotta be a good barrier to where people can sit and feel comfortable sitting there.
So it has to be something strong enough to stop a car.
That's correct, that's correct.
And this process has been explained to,
Numerous times, to the vendor and the property
They
manager.
need permits with that. Do they need
One
permits?
at a time, one at a time.
They need a sketch of where they're going to have this in the parking lot and show the city that it's a safety area. And they have not submitted anything, nor have they provided a safety barrier.
But as of right now, that's not an issue because they've taken
They've
it.
removed it.
That's correct. There's no tables
One
and,
of the pictures I saw, they just folded up the tables and moved them next to the food truck.
yep.
Is that still, I mean, are the tables still there?
Well, they could be there, but I have to catch them actually
Have to see it
open.
set up. Okay.
Right, that's correct.
So if they can go and get the food, go to their car, and it's,
That's correct.
okay.
That's what I recommend.
One more question.
Go ahead.
If you catch them again, would that be repeated?
Yes, it would be a repeat.
Be a repeat, because you already issued, no, you know.
Well, as long as I get a finding tonight from the board, it'll be a repeat
Once
violation.
you get the finding from us. yeah.
Right.
Yes,
Go ahead, Dave.
Is it the property owner that would be in violation or the food truck?
the property owner.
Because they have to give permission, correct?
That's correct.
I had a lot of questions on this.
Oh, it's okay. It's a new violation, so
Like you said,
that's
it's
why I'm trying to explain it to you, so.
It'd be no different than somebody renting a house. The owner's responsible for it.
Yep.
Right.
Any other questions?
Okay,
I do have a question.
Sure.
In addition to a concrete barrier, is there any other options that they could consider?
well, as long as they can sit in their vehicle, have the food inside their vehicle,
I'm talking like
what's-
any of the materials that could be used as a barrier?
something that's got to be able to stop a vehicle, because that parking lot is a very big parking lot. So you can get up to 40 miles an hour very fast if you wanted to, I hate to say the word, take somebody out, but cause an accident. It doesn't take much.
Nope.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Go. That's, in case number 24-2199, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 5400 East Bush Boulevard, with the applicable code violation 12-234 subsection B, subsection 48, subsection B, outdoor seating. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including affidavits, and the notice of violation of which received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move there'll be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 24-2230, City versus MFE Commercial LLC for the property located at 12908 North 56th Street. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-9831H, signs, roof sign. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated back on May 16, 2024, by Community Development when the business installed a business sign on top of the roof area, which is a violation of our code. That same day, Inspector Lori Smith prepared a notice of violation with a compliance date of May 31st, 2024. She hand-delivered the notice letter to the business owner. Then on June 25th, 2024, Inspector Smith and I had a discussion about the two violations that she cited in the notice letter. I explained to Lori that the rooftop mount sign would be a violation of the city ordinance, and the building permit would never be approved by the city planner. Inspector Smith did prepare an amended notice letter and only cited the property owner for the prohibited sign violation. She hand-delivered that notice letter to the wholesale business. The owner of the business did state to Lori that he would remove the sign. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me on June 24th, 2024. Exhibit number 1 displays the rooftop mount sign in exhibit number 1. I'd like to submit it this time.
Accept that. So the sign we're talking about is the real wholesale, all of that?
Yes. So we don't allow rooftop signs. So, like I said, Lori did cite him originally for the sign and not obtaining a permit. So the city would never approve that sign, so a permit is not required. So we just eliminated that permit violation. So as of today's date, the sign has been removed, and I'm submitting an affidavit of compliance.
Very good. Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Any questions?
I just wanted to mention, I did not know this case is on the board, but I had knowledge because I met with, originally, the original owner was a friend of mine. Now I don't know the owners there, so I would have not been able to vote on this or do any motions on this, because I had
Yes, I
communication on that.
Yes.
Okay.
I did not know that was on the case,
You didn't have any discussions with,
not recently.
let me finish. You haven't had any discussions with the owner about the roof sign?
That was way back before they opened. I think Tom was there at one point, and that's when I
Yeah,
met
but the
there.
violation that we're talking about today, the roof sign, have you had any?
He had it the same way, yeah. They were talking about the same thing.
Right.
It's, and I mentioned to them that they should remove the sign too, because they
So
asked
I went
my
to visit the
opinion.
location, Rod was there, and I was having a
That was with
discussion
the previous owner?
with the previous owner, yes.
Okay. So that sign's been up for a while?
Yes, it has,
Okay.
yes.
That's the part I was missing.
May I ask Rod a few questions?
Right.
In light of all this, do you feel you can be a fair and impartial decision maker on this case?
Yes, yes,
Okay, and you'll base your decision on the evidence that was presented at the hearing?
yes.
Okay. If there's no questions for the code officer, I'll entertain a motion.
I got this.
Thank you.
In case number 24-2230, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 12908 North 56th Street. This includes violation of section 12-983, subsection 1, subsection H, signs, roof sign. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Okay, case number 2394, City versus Jagelin Enterprises LLC for the property located at 204 Redwood Avenue. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 10-3B sanitation grass weeds. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on May 24th, 2024 for overgrown conditions. I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of May 28th, 2024. My reinspection on June 3rd showed no change, so I prepared a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of June 10th, 2024. I posted a copy at the residence, and a copy was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed both certified and regular mail to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on June 14th showed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on that date, and the case was scheduled for the July Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on June 3rd and June 14th, 2024.
We'll accept that. Thank
The
you.
site is in compliance, and I'd also like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and am seeking a finding.
We accept all that. Thank you. Any questions for the code officer?
Exhibit 1 shows the posting of the notice of violation. Exhibit 2 shows the overgrown conditions, and exhibit number 3 shows the overgrown conditions.
There's no questions for the code officer. I entertain a motion.
I knew this.
Thank you.
In case number 24-2394. Oh, sorry, we're, yep, all right, perfect. I move the city is proven by a greater weight of evidence of the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 204 Redwood Avenue. Applicable code sections 10-3 subsection B. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next and last case under new business. Thank you.
Case number 24-2401, City versus Miriam Barada for the property located at 210 Mission Hills Avenue. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 10-4B3 nuisance. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening once again, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on May 24th, 2024 for several dead trees that create a public nuisance and safety issue. I generated a notice of violation on that date and a reinspection date of June 13th, 2024. I posted this notice at the site as well as at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on June 14th showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing on that date, and the case was scheduled for the July Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on May 24th and June 14th, 2024. The site is in compliance, and I'd also like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
We'll accept all of that. Thank you. Hopefully this never happens.
Normally, we fight the other way about trees.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting. Exhibit number 2 shows the dead trees, and exhibit number 3 shows the dead trees.
Good. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I got this one.
Thank you.
In case number 242401, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located on 210 Mission Hills Avenue. Section 10-4, subsection 4, subsection 3. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Doug Allen, and other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation on all which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there are no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
And before we go for a second, maybe I misunderstood you, but I think you said 10-4 subsection 4 subsection 3, when in fact it should be 10-4 subsection B subsection 3. So if you wouldn't mind correcting that, we can get a second.
Correction, section 10-4, subsection B, subsection 3.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Thank you very much. That completes our new business on the unfinished.
10, David.
Huh?
10 out of 10, 10 compliance. 10 cases, 10 compliance.
That's amazing.
That was amazing. That's the, huh? Well, that's, you know.
He's like, let's think positively.
90%.
We still got an
We
A.
have 10.
It's still an A.
10 out of 11.
Let's get through unfinished business, then we can do the smoking and joking.
But this is good, though.
All right? No, it's good. It's absolutely good. Okay, unfinished business.
So case number 234652, City versus David J. Calhoun, for the property located at 5106 Rolling Hill Court. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Lori Smith for Section 8-10213C, dated June 18th, 2024. Case number 24-0787, City versus Walden Green, for the property located at 8505 Wakula Drive. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Lori Smith for Section 8-10213K, dated July 1st, 2024. Section 8-10213B remains out of compliance. Case number 24-0836, City vs. Betty and David Heschinger and Harold Madero, for the property located at 10027 North 52nd Street. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 24-1385, City vs. White Glove Holdings II, LLC, for the property located at 1401 North River Hills Drive. The deadline for compliance was June 12th, 2024. An affidavit of noncompliance was submitted by Officer Doug Allen for Section 810222, dated June 13th, 2024. Case number 24-1405, City vs. Mariah Solinsky and Dominique Solinsky, for the property located at 325 Brentwood Drive. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 24-1688, City vs. Lonnie Mark Hammonds, for the property located at 414 Park Ridge Avenue. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 24-2003, City vs. Betty and David Heschinger and Harold Madero, for the property located at 10027 North 52nd Street. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. I do have one case not on the agenda. Case number 23-1753, City vs. Progress Residential Borrower 21 LLC, for the property located at 9039 Water Chestnut Drive. This lien has been paid and the case is no longer on the liens list.
Very good. Awesome.
Great.
Good. Any other board action? Any news on the liens report? Any new business? Did you update your stats?
On.
Number of compliances, I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, I like.
No, the answer is no. Okay, got it.
Get your double-double, man.
But this seems to me, a lot of people are responding to our code enforcement officers. Great job.
They are.
This month they are.
It seems like Doug Allen,
Let's just go with that.
mid-June, Doug Allen was going very hard. Mid-June, around mid-June.
Mr. Chairman, I just got a few comments.
Sure.
So the first case tonight was the fire case. So I just kind of want to let you know that several years ago, there was a lawsuit against the city. A property owner, a landlord, took the fire department to the court, and we lost the case.
Really?
So the case was, we can't force somebody to do an inspection on the property. So if the landlord doesn't want an inspection, they could deny the fire department.
Really?
So I know there was comments made about health and safety issues tonight. So I'm just trying to say that a landlord can deny the fire department rental
So-
inspector to
Was it
come
during
in.
COVID?
But it was around that time, that's correct. It was
So when they sign up to be part of the rental program, don't they also have to give, part of that signing up, doesn't that give permission for us to inspect it?
No, but what they can do, if they don't give consent, then the fire department can go ahead and get an inspection warrant because they are not owner-occupied properties. So there is a way, the issue is that the way it was set up, they were going in, getting inspections without either consent or inspection. So that was what the concern was.
But, okay, so somebody signs up for the rental program. We go to do our yearly inspection, they say no. Don't we have to have probable cause to get an inspection warrant?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
So,
I'm just
so there
saying
could be
that's
all
what-
kind, and we can't go inside to see. So there could be all kinds of violations. I remember there was years ago, under the rental program, where the floors were rotted out, and the guy had tried to build a kitchen on the second floor, and, I mean, it was a disaster. We would never be, if they said no, we wouldn't be able to see that.
But if we have a tenant that's reporting the problem, we'll have our probable cause in that area.
But I know there was some concerns about the boards tonight, saying, well, it could be a safety issue.
So, but let me, stay up there. So, have we looked at revising our,
Code.
well, the form, the application, the forms, so that we have implicit permission to inspect once they sign up for the program?
That, I don't know how, the department itself hasn't moved forward to my knowledge on that. So I can't give you an answer on that.
Right now, so
The legal,
it's dependent upon, permission from the owner and/or
well,
somebody.
or the tenant can give consent also because
Oh, the
they
tenant,
have,
okay.
remember, they have temporary possession of the property while they have a
Tenant can
lease.
get consent.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the way it was is they were doing the inspection without either consent
So all of our
or,
fire departments, like vampires, they have to be invited in.
well, that's what the court said, so.
Also, too, just another thing was the lump sum. There's other code violations throughout the city, the local business tax. That's why we put a lump sum, because that local business tax roughly costs around $90 to $100. So you don't want the violation, if it continues on, you can accumulate a accrual lien of
Yeah.
$5,000.
$90.
So that's why they capped it. So the fire department would have to present this case next year as a repeat violation, and they would have to go in front of the board if they don't get the payment. So that $250 is just a lump sum, and then 2025, they'll have to come back again as a repeat violation case,
If they don't pay.
if they don't pay. That's correct.
Well, what I tried to do is hopefully they'll pay the $200 and then after
For
that
the fee, yeah.
this will initiate automatically, like
Well,
I
if they
got
pay-
lost a little
If it
bit.
gets paid in 30 days, it's a moot point.
Correct.
I think once they get the order, then it shows that they'll be fined up $250. I think you're gonna get their attention. That's what happened in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would also generate an inspection. Then after they pay the fee,
If they say okay.
if they say okay.
Yeah.
If they say not okay,
If they say not okay, then we don't inspect.
but they can continue renting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Imperfect system, apparently.
Notion of privacy.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else have any new business? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays? We are adjourned. Thank you.
All right.